One unexpected remedy for healthy, dense bones is one that all of you have. Absolutely all of you. But before we get to it, I'm going to show you 3 bones. The first one is a representation of a healthy person's bone. It's dense, strong, and beautiful. The second is the less dense, loose bone of an elderly person suffering from osteoporosis. It can break easily. And finally, the third bone, also not very dense and can break quite easily. Yet, surprisingly, it belongs to one of the healthiest persons of the world. In this video, we'll discuss bone health. And at the end, I'll talk about who has a much higher risk of fractures and bone diseases. Check to see if you are in these categories of people or not. So, let's get back to the last mystery bone. This man is healthier than me and almost any of you, but he has obvious problems with his bones. And that's because he lacks a very important thing we all have, and that is gravity. This is the bone of an astronaut after a long flight. During the flight, especially if it lasts longer than 6 months, minerals from the bones are washing out, and bone density can decrease by 20–25%. And all because of the fact that there is no load on the bones. Our skeleton prevents the force of gravity. If suddenly its influence decreases or is completely gone, such dense bones are useless to us. The amount of minerals in them decreases. For 6 months of flight, the skeleton of an astronaut loses as much mineral substance as for 10 years of life on Earth. You say then, everything is fine, I'm not going to space, so I always have my gravity with me. And I'll tell you, that's not quite true. Gravity depends not only on you being on the Earth, but it depends also on your mass. If you lose weight drastically or you are basically underweight, bone mineral density decreases because your weight is very low and the gravitational load on the bones is less. So losing weight till the weight deficiency, especially as you age, is not a good idea. It's best to stay within a normal body mass index. If you have no clue about your body mass index, you can use a BMI calculator on my website, the link down below. The second situation where gravity has less effect on the bones is when you are lying down for a long time. The most dangerous fractures, especially in the elderly, are hip and femoral neck fractures. It's a bone in the leg, and to keep it dense and not break, you have to walk with that leg where the bone is. When you stand upright, the weight on the bone is quite heavy, and this load stimulates this bone to become denser, stronger, better nourished by the blood. Even in 2 weeks of bed rest, if you don't get up at all, the bone density decreases. And when you finally get up, the bones may simply not be able to support you and break. Therefore, even if you are just sick with a cold or cough, the best thing to do as soon as you feel better is to try to move, to walk, at least to sit up, do light exercises in bed if you can get up. This will maintain your bone mineral matrix. You have probably heard stories when grandmother decided not to get up anymore, decided that's it, she will lie down waiting for her death. And indeed, after some time of such lying or sitting with no movement, a person can no longer get up. His bones and muscles do not hold him. In addition, with constant lying, the outflow of phlegm and mucus from the lungs get worse. It can lead to inflammation of the lung, which is a cause of death for a huge number of elderly people. In general, movement is life, literally. What can you do with it? To keep your bones healthy, you can not only not decrease the effect of gravity on you, but you can even increase it. And that will help make your bones denser and stronger. But how? Weight will help. I'm not suggesting you gain some extra kilos, but you need weight training. Even small weights at first, exercising with half-kilo dumbbells, can help you keep your bones strong. This helps even if you are losing weight, for example, due to illness, or if you go on a low-calorie diet, or if you already have osteoporosis. Simple physical activity, even without extra weights, also makes your bones stronger. Because when you jump or walk, when you land on your feet, the weight that your bones have to bear increases. But dumbbells and barbells make the effect more pronounced. Also, exercise strengthens your muscles and prevents you from losing muscle mass as you age. This is called sarcopenia. And that means your gait will remain confident and light and beautiful. You won't wobble when you stand up, you won't fall, and you won't break your bones. I know that many adult children of elderly parents react negatively when their mom or dad suddenly start doing some kind of sports because, oh, you will fall, you will hit, you will stretch your leg, you will injure your lower back. What did you have in mind? And this is not the right approach at all. On the contrary, sports will help your parents not to get injured, not to fall or fall correctly, keep their muscles and bones and digestion system and brain functioning properly. Encourage your parents to exercise more. Buy them dumbbells and bikes, take them to pilates and yoga, install some sports apps on their phone. You will prolong their healthy life that way. And if you say about yourself, oh, I never did sports, but in my old age, I will start squatting with dumbbells. The concept of old age is different for everyone, but you're never too old for simple exercises. And if you want strong femoral bones, you will start. Our bodies change as we age, and we can adapt to these changes by lifestyle. Or we cannot even try to adapt and change nothing, but then we have to get sick. That's not what you want to get, isn't it? The second factor is vitamins. You will say, well, we know that vitamin D, K2, and calcium are necessary for bones. But it's not just calcium and vitamin D that our bones need. Count on your fingers, but before, use one of them to press the subscribe button, because here you get medicine knowledge for free. It's worthy for subscription. And maybe even you like. To form collagen, which is used to build everything hard and solid in our bodies, including bones, you need vitamin C, vitamin B6, B9, and B12. Results from 17 studies involving nearly 20,000 people showed that people who had adequate vitamin C intake were 34% less likely to break bones than people with vitamin C deficiency. To protect collagen and bones in general from breaking down, you need also vitamin E. Higher blood levels of alpha-tocopherol were associated with higher bone mineral density, and very low levels of this vitamin increased the risk of hip fracture by 50%. Vitamin A derivatives are needed to build new bone, fuse fractures faster, and renew bone tissue. When you are sick for a long time, lie down for a long time, or you have some problems with digestion and absorption of various substances, it makes sense to take vitamins and minerals in supplements. But just for prevention, it is better to get them naturally. They are better absorbed from the products, and there are no consequences of overdose. If you don't feel like keeping track of every vitamin in your food, try to just choose as different products as possible at the store. Today, white cabbage, tomorrow red, today cod, tomorrow chicken or egg, today apples and tomorrow carrots. Note, I don't say about different types of chips, hamburgers or candies. The more varied your diet, the more natural it is, the less likely you are to have vitamins and minerals deficiencies. Great solution to close the daily intake of vitamins and minerals are different mixtures. For example, a mixture of seeds. You can add them to porridge, to salads, yogurt, and even in soup, normally, as a spice. Consider it. A mixture of spices and especially herbs will add vitamins, polyphenols, and also add flavor to your food and possibly reduce the need for salt and sugar. Perhaps a daily pinch of, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and basil will save you from a lot of deficiency problems. But remember about moderation. 30 grams a day of different nuts is a great idea. Half a kilo of black cumin daily is not. A pinch of cinnamon is great. A tablespoon of turmeric will turn you yellow. And finally, the third factor of bone health, it's hormones. Too much thyroid hormones, less dense bones. So you should definitely get treatment, take medications, and monitor your hormone level closely if you have any thyroid diseases. Too little estrogen decreases bone density. Too little testosterone does the same thing. In case of estrogen and testosterone deficiency, in both cases, moderate physical activity helps. And it's better for bones if it is with weights, as I said. The load normalizes the hormonal background and increases bone density, even against the leaching of minerals, for example, in menopause in women. Many of us consider exercise and fitness from the point of view of external beauty, to get a six-pack, to attract somebody. And if you somehow mentally take yourself out of this sexual competition where you want to impress someone, then why do all this sport? But movement is more about your health. You need it to keep from falling apart by the age of 30. I do sports not for the carved muscles, but to get up from the couch without making any sound, to park far away from the shopping center and it was not a problem, to endure a tour of the new city or a few hours of walking with pleasure, to sneeze without fear that my back would hurt after that. It's just a need, just like brushing your teeth so they don't rot. You have to exercise so your bones don't break. The sooner you accept that truth, the better it will be for you. Next, I will talk about the 3 categories of people whose bones are at risk and who need to take special care of their bones. Do you fall into these categories or not? Watch on and find out. And the first category is people with bad habits. Alcohol and smoking affect the absorption of many vitamins and minerals, including bone minerals. You probably know that smokers have bad teeth, for example. This deterioration also occurs in the bones, not only in the teeth. Bone renewal is worse. New bone in case of cracks or fractures is slower to form. Vitamins are worse absorbed and leave the body faster. Bone density also decreases in people who drink alcohol. They also have a higher risk of fractures due to unsteady gait. This is an ultimate combo for a trip to the hospital. The second category is menopausal women. Here a combination of factors is involved. Just imagine this woman. A menopausal woman, perhaps due to a decrease in estrogen and changes in the hormonal background, may greatly lose the weight or gain the weight. The first factor in itself reduces bone density, as we discussed in the very beginning. And the second often leads to associated diseases, such as, for example, heartburn. It begins to be treated with omeprazole or other proton pump inhibitors, and these drugs prevent the absorption of calcium from the food, as well as other drugs for heartburn, such as antacids. Plus, for example, this woman has some inflammation, for example, and maybe was prescribed with prednisolone. It also reduces bone density and can, like omeprazole, cause osteoporosis. Plus, if menopause matches retirement, a person moves less, sits and lies more, because there is no need to go to work every day anymore. This behavior also makes the bones fragile. And the lack of estrogen itself also affects mineral metabolism, and this washes calcium out of the bones. The sum of factors eventually leads to fractures and osteoporosis. What can you do with it? First of all, monitor your weight. It should be within normal values. It's especially important in menopause. Do not lose or gain too much weight. Normally, it's not so easy, but you have to monitor it. The second is physical activity. Engage in physical activity. If you thought to rest in retirement, forget it. Probably you will have even more sports than in your youth if you want to feel better. Calcium in food. Watch your diet, especially the amount of calcium in your food. In the link below the video, you'll find the little brochure from the Osteoporosis Association that gives you a list of calcium-rich products. It could be very useful. Sunshine. Get out in the sun more often. It gives you vitamin D and improves your bones' health. Mobility. Don't lie or sit for long periods of time, but keep moving. And of course, get rid of heartburn without medication. Get rid of heartburn with non-medicinal methods, including lifestyle changes, diet approach, and diaphragm exercises. Consult endocrinologist. Perhaps you will need hormone replacement therapy. And the third category at risk is vegans and vegetarians. Sorry guys, it's not me, it's statistics. In 2019, one meta-analysis showed that vegetarian and vegan diets were associated with lower bone mineral density and increased fracture risk. The risk of hip fracture was 1.33 times higher in vegetarians compared to regular meat eaters. Those who sometimes ate meat or fish had a similar risk compared to regular meat eaters. There are a number of factors in this case. The first is the lower calcium availability in plant food and the total absence of vitamin D3 in plants. Second, there is no vitamin B12 in plants, and we need this vitamin for correct bone metabolism. And the third thing is animal protein. A study conducted on elderly people found that the more protein products of animal origin in a diet increases bone mineral density. But high amounts of plant proteins in the diet decreased bone density. If you are strongly opposed to animal products because of the killing of animals, I understand you, but maybe you shall consider keeping at least milk, cheese, or yogurt. A meta-analysis of 20 randomized trials from 2022 showed that adding milk to the diet increased bone mineral density at the lumbar spine and hip. Several other meta-analyses have shown a lower risk of hip fracture in consumers of dairy products, namely milk, yogurt, and cheese. For example, yogurt eaters have a 25% lower risk of hip fracture. Dairy products are not only the source of calcium itself, but also a protein, and in the case of yogurt or cheese, also a source of healthy bacteria, which can influence calcium absorption as well. For example, Lactobacillus rhamnosus, according to studies, increases the absorption of calcium in the intestine. It's best to choose the simplest dairy, sugar-free yogurts and fruit-free yogurts, something that really can go sour and has not an eternal shelf life. And finally, I will say once again, that our health is hidden in simple things, in movement, in sunshine, and in a varied diet. Take care of your bones. Exercise more. They must work, and let them enjoy you until 100 years old. See you in the next videos.